Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I have a quick video on how to make the Seamingly Wicked Coffin Wallet. I made a few modifications, namely I omitted one of the cash slots here, and then I doubled the inside pocket. I laid it flat and mirrored it so that I can fold it and make it the way that I prefer to make wallets. So I took Ren's pattern, her templates, and then I applied the tall wallet techniques to make it my own. So you'll see that throughout the video. Be sure to pop over to Seamingly Wicked and get the pattern, and then come back and then we will work through the way that I make it together if you prefer to make it the way that I do. I added a card slot, so I have 8 over here. Of course, they are recessed as always, 2 cash slots, 1 zipper area, and then the back is plain. And then I made a little coffin flap instead of just the rectangular flap that's included in the pattern. You can also omit the flap totally and add a snap right here, which that's how I normally do mine, but my customer wanted it like this. You see, I do edge paint. I show you in the video as I'm doing it, but it's hyperlapse. So if you want a full length instructional video, be sure to find that on my channel, but I'll link it below for you as well. So yeah, be sure to join Seamingly Wicked on Facebook and give her a follow on TikTok. She has lots of fun videos there. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. Be sure to leave me a comment and all that if I haven't already said that. Anyway, it's the morning. I don't normally record in the morning. All right, guys, enjoy. To get started, you need to get all of your materials. I have my landscaping fabric for my recessed card slots, double stick tape, my magnetic snap and my washers, my zipper. In this case, the customer requested this true green, so I'm going for that color. And then I amended the pattern pieces as I usually do. So I have 2 inside pieces and I have them prepped. So I have my zipper box cut out already. And then I already have my card slots cut out on this side. And then I have 2 external, or 1 external piece and then 1 internal piece. And you can see I've already branded this one. So this is going to be the outside. And then this is going to be the inside. You can see there are little notches here that I will cut later after I construct this piece. It's going to get folded in half and laid here with the zipper pocket going on this side here. I amended this pattern to be as close as possible as far as construction goes to my tall wallet. So it is credit card pocket and zipper pocket laid on top of 1 interior piece with, or attached to an exterior with a little flap. And in this case, the pattern has just normally a little like rectangle flap, and I cut out a miniature coffin, if you can see, look how cute. So I'm gonna put the magnetic snap on this guy and then edge coat this and use this as my little snap. So the first thing I'm going to do is just start prepping the pieces, and I'm going to glue my zipper into my zipper box. As always, I'm using Beacon Fabri-Tac, which if you know me at all, then you know that that is my glue of choice, but it is your world and I'm just living in it, so you use whatever you want. And I'm just centering my zipper inside of my zipper box here. There we go. I'll set that to the side. Next, what I'm gonna do is put double stick tape along the back side of all of my card slots. If you've ever watched me make a tall wallet or a Triskel or anything of any of my patterns, then I'm doing the same technique. It's been a while since I looked at the original pattern, but I want to say that I added a slot or 2 to mine. I've considered trying to work out how to add an ID window on this card slot as well, or even adding an ID window on this side with more card slots and then adding the coin slot. Not sure what happened about the video cut off, but what I was saying was that I just haven't really started messing with the design yet. So you'll know when I do, or if I do come up with those changes. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 card slots. And something that you need to be aware of when amending this pattern or making changes, especially on the card slot side, is that when it's done and you have a card in this top area, let me grab an actual card, in this top slot, if you move it up too high, it's going to stick out the side. So that's just something that I was trying to be aware of when I was making the amendments to this pattern. But yeah, so just wanted to point that out. And then the other thing, the reason I added 8 was because by the time you get down to this bottom section, you only have about a ½ an inch left down here. So that's just something else to consider. Then you also want to take in mind the angle at the angle of these pockets, because the nature of the wallet is to be angular on each side. And so it's just something that spatially you have to think about when you're making accommodations. It's not hard to amend the wallet, and the wallet as is perfectly fine. It just has an extra portion under one of the sides for a cash divider that I just didn't really need. So I left that out. Okay, so now I just want to get my little coffin ready. And so I'm going to mark the center and install my snap. And so I'm going to put the male portion of the snap on the tab here, and then install the female portion of the snap onto the exterior front of my wallet. I only have done one of these wallets with the little tabs. As you can see in this green one, I switched over to this snap placement here, but the person who ordered this wallet specifically asked for this little tab. So I'm gonna do my best to recreate it. Of course, I can't remember how I did it, so we're gonna figure it out together. I'm gonna interface this cork with a little piece of 808. So I'm just tracing my tab on here. So you can see I left about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and it's just a really rough cut. It doesn't have to be perfect for this interfacing. Okie doke, so now we have that done, and I'm just gonna glue this onto a scrap that I have of black cork, and then I'm gonna sew it, and then we'll cut it out of the excess here so that all my sides are nice and even. Okay, so we have that. So I'm gonna go to the machine and I'm gonna stitch 1/8 of an inch all the way around here. I'm gonna also stitch around my zipper box here. And I'm gonna go ahead and start installing my recessed card slots. I've got big kitty Sal over here. He always shares my seat with me. For years, we have a little agreement that I'll sit down and he stays back there and we share the seat. Alrighty, I had to swap out my thread there. Just thought I'd show you Sal because that was cute. Let's see. I'm gonna start with my zipper pocket, and I have the tails of my thread pulled long so that way I can knot it on the back side. And then I'm always careful to add some stay stitches as I'm sewing over the zipper itself. So to knot it on the back, you're just gonna pull on the bobbin thread down here, pull this loop through, and we'll knot it once we get all 4 threads to the back. So just make sure to pull some excess. Pull until you see that loop come through. And then now we've got, let's see if I can show you against. We've got all 4 threads here. Oh, fake. One is significantly shorter. Now we have all 4 threads, so now I'm just gonna tie all those in a knot together to secure them on the back side. And now the front won't have any overlapping stitches, so there won't be any obvious, you know, back stitching. At least not on this section. Another good place to start stitching, in my opinion, is on the zipper teeth, because then when you're back stitching over the zipper teeth to add extra stability or extra durability, it's just going to blend in with the beginning and the end stitches. Okay, so there's that. The pattern, I'm fairly certain, tells you how to lay an inlay in here, so like fabric, so you can certainly do that if you like that idea, but I honestly don't mind the zipper tape being inside like that, so I leave it. I don't know where, okay. I'm gonna work on my little coffin now. And then I'm gonna do my recessed card slots the same way that I do them on my own wallets. I'm pretty sure Ren has a couple different ways, or she might top stitch, I think she top stitches under the card slot and then again on top, just for added durability. So that is something that if you want to check out, be sure to do it the way that she describes it in the pattern. So we have all of that done. Now I just need to go and trim and do a couple other things, and then we'll just top stitch these to make them pockets. Here is our friend. This is Mr. Blue back here. And then of course Joppa. Figured I'd show you since they came in here to visit. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is just trim my zipper from back here. And then I'm actually gonna use my rotary cutter and I'm gonna trim down all around my little coffin here. And there we go, our little tiny coffin tab. That'll be so cute. Okay, so what I have recently been doing, which is kind of a relatively new thing for me, is on the back of my card slots to make them lay a little bit more flush and not have them be so puffy, and then to make it easier, because when you're folding on the tall wallet or even the Triskel, and then of course on this, these have a tendency to push out when you start to fold. So I just take a piece of double stick tape and just lay it down the entire length of the card slots. And then what that does, excuse me, is it holds all the card slots into place, and then it also, instead of having to apply glue, it also gives me a place to stick this fold over here. Another thing that I do is I do it towards this edge of the card slots, so then it gets as close, like on the tall wallet, this would be a flat edge, so it makes more sense. But either way, I'm doing it as close as possible to this edge so that hopefully I can avoid putting glue there. And if you don't have double stick tape or glue, you don't have to do this. This is all just, if you have it and you want to use it, go for it. Otherwise, you'll be perfectly fine using clips. Forgot to trim all my threads. Okay, so there is the card slot side of, oh my gosh, my cat almost fell off the table. Every animal is in here today. The card slot side, so now I'm gonna go back and top stitch this. But first I'm going to finish this side as well. I'm just gonna put, actually I'm gonna use glue on this one, because with this guy, I am gonna be sewing through it since I'm gluing it right on the edge. And my machine will sew through double stick tape, but you know, if you don't have to stress out the machine and get your needle all goopy, then why do it? Okay, so now I need to go to the machine. I need to top stitch both of these down this edge. But first what I'm gonna do, I'll show you here. I want it to have this beveled edge here so that it matches the top angle, and then that it mirrors it down here. So I'm gonna cut that now. And I marked it, but I didn't cut it before, so. I ended up just eyeballing it after all that, but I'm just going to lay it on this other pocket and mirror the same cuts. And you want to cut these angles before sewing, so that way you can sew down the angle, or actually we're not gonna sew down the angle because we're gonna catch these angles in the final top stitching. So we're just gonna sew from here to this point. So from straight edge to straight edge right there on both sides. And then we'll catch the little angles once we top stitch it all together. So now we have our two edges top stitched nice and thin. All right, so now what I need to do is glue these guys down to the interior piece. And I noticed just now that I actually put my brand on the wrong side. So this is now going to be my interior piece, and I branded what was my interior piece on the correct side. So if you're using branding or any type of tag and you want it on the back of the wallet, make sure that you do it on the left side when it's right side up. Alrighty, so now let's get these glued down. And my goal of this is to have everything line up as nice as possible. But because I eyeballed my angle up here, you can see there's a little bit of overlap, but I'm just gonna trim that down. And then I'm gonna glue this side down. And then same thing. I can never cut a straight line even with using templates or anything else, so it does not shock me that my pieces do not line up, but that's okay because I cut the wallet a little big anyways in general because I know this about myself. So if you're making amendments to this wallet and you can't cut a straight line, maybe it's something to consider. All right, so now I'm just gonna angled this corner up, or this edge up, and I'm gonna trim off the top here just to get all of my edges the same. So you can see over here, I just trimmed up this interior piece to match this pocket, and then I trimmed down here so that my edges were nice and even. And I'm gonna do the same on this other side. Okay, so there is the interior of our wallet. And now I need to add my little Coffin snap tab. So I'm just gonna flip it over. I'm gonna line it up on this one long edge here. This one's flat edge. And I'm just gonna put it down about 0.25 inches from this corner here. And I'm going to overlap it about 1/4 inch as well. All right, so I'm gonna let that set up. And then what I need to do is I still need to install the other side of my snap tab over here on the exterior. So I'm just gonna use a clip. Oh, it's on there decently enough. I'm gonna clip it actually. So I'm just gonna lay everything together, lay the interior on the exterior, wrong sides together. So this is what it'll be like when it's done. I'm gonna throw a couple clips on here. Sorry about my dog barking. Joppa. Okay, so this is how it's gonna lay. Hold on, let me go see what these guys are barking at. We have some people walking by and the pups are not happy about it, but close the door so hopefully you don't hear them bark anymore. Anyway, so I just clipped it just to give myself an idea of what it's gonna look like. So my snap tab is glued into place and I'm gonna fold it. And now what I'm gonna do is, well first what I'm gonna do is make sure that I've got everything all lined up. Because I did have to make some adjustments to this interior piece when I had to cut everything. And once this snap tab is in place, you're not going to be able to trim right here. So you want to make sure that everything is lined up on this edge because we can't cut that down later. So I'm just going to lay everything like it will lay when it's glued. So that way I get an accurate representation of where everything is going to be. Okay, so now with it clipped into place, I'm just going to fold this over and mark where the snap tab is hitting on this exterior and install it that way. This is obviously super technical, very, very special way of doing this. Just kidding. And see, now I see where I need to install it. The only thing that you need to really think about on this is you need to give yourself enough room from where the snap tab is going to be installed so that you can sew next to it, because if it's too close, your foot is not going to sew. You're not going to have enough room to sew on that edge. So I'm just going to unclip and get this snap installed, and then we can top stitch and we'll be all done. Okay, so I've got that there. And now what I'm gonna do is just apply glue all around and lay them wrong sides together. Cork is a little bit flexible and bendy, so if it's not exactly right, you can sometimes manipulate it to where you want it to lay. You can see I'm going to have to trim a little bit off on this side, which is totally fine. I'm going to do that now before I sew it. You see, this is, I'm getting close to my snap over here, so that will present a problem. So I'm going to try to actually back that over so that I don't have to cut any of it down. Because it's already close and it's going to be a pain in the arse. Okay, that looks okay. I'm going to have to trim off some of the bottom here. So now I'm just going to go to the machine and I'm going to top stitch around the entire exterior, and hopefully I can make it around that snap. I'm gonna move my zipper head out of the way. Ooh, the zipper or the snap is right in the way. So I'm gonna try to find something, maybe a needle case that I can pop. Where is one? I normally have a needle case close by. So I'm going to try my best to put this on the right side of my foot and keep the presser foot level because it's going up onto the snap here. So I'm just going to go slow and steady. And hopefully it works. It's not quite thick enough, so I'm actually going to do a needle case and a debit card. Ooh, did it work? There we go. Okay, so we are all top stitched. You can see I've got quite a bit of overlap here that I need to trim down, but the side is looking pretty good, which this is the side I was concerned about. So now I'm just gonna go around and trim everything. But this is what it'll look like when it's all done. I'm a huge, huge, huge stickler of the edges being precise. And then it just makes edge coating a lot nicer. Just makes everything lay nicer and just look more clean. Edge coating, you can get away with a little bit of inconsistency because it does seal all the edges together nicely. But for instance, you don't want like this little piece here because then it's just, the color is going to be a lot on, it's going to look like you got a lot on this side when really it's just not even. So I would just go ahead and take the time to cut this edge even before edge coating, or even gluing for that matter. Okay, so this is what we have. I need to trim up this V ear area here a little bit. It's not perfect. So I am going to time-lapse edge coat this. If you want to watch a full-length video, I will link it up here. I don't never know which side it comes in on, or it'll be in the description box below. But this is what we have so far. That's what it looks like. And then, so yeah, I'm just gonna go back through. I'm gonna burn all my edges, and then I'm gonna apply 2 to 3 coats of dense base coat. And then I'm going to apply the color, which the customer asked for this color here. So if you don't want to watch that, I'm gonna bid you adieu now. And I really appreciate you being here. Be sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to see any other modifications to this Coffin wallet. And do not forget to support small designers. Go buy this pattern from Ren. She is just a really cool human being and a fun designer. So join her group. I'll link everything below for you. And until next time, don't be a butthole to each other. How about that? And wash your hands. See you around. All right, so we're done. I hope that you enjoyed. Be sure to leave me a comment, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff down below. And don't forget to join Ren's groups And until I see you next time, I hope that you all stay safe out there and yeah, be safe.